Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Come on the porch, on the stoop. Come on the stoop, y'all. Come on the stoop. Yes, indeed. That was a little abrupt. I wanted to do a slow, you know. Come on the stoop. Uh, okay, see what happened was on uh, on Saturday. I dropped my camera holder. And now it's kind of like held together, but I have to, there's the camera, and then I have to angle myself towards the camera, like lean to the left or lean to the right. Me and the dogs and the house noises are here. That's why I cut out Sundays and just started doing uh, Thursdays, because it's a lot. So of course you'll hear the dogs barking, probably growling. They start fighting each other. They kind of like it when their granny goes live. Well, come on the stoop, y'all. Come on the stoop. My cousin should be chiming in. I told her that I do uh, this Bed-Stuy Brownstone story section. Session, ah, the first part of this chat. Listen, I'm new at this. Oh, I hope y'all had a great week. I have had a great week, though I'm retired. Excuse me. It's busy. Though I'm not married. I usually keep it on this hand, but I got a cut, a sore, something, so I had to take it from this hand and put it on this hand. But so I have to keep saying that. I say it on my morning walks all the time too. Thanks for coming through. I use this time to explain to you how I just realized at 64, you hear them grown? My daughter says yes, my daughter says yes, they do save it for you to go alive. It was quiet. Anyway, so I wondered, like, maybe for the past 25 years, I have been involved, not indirectly involved, with the LGBTQ community, and support all the girls. Was looking at a drag race on Logo. I was thinking the other day, I never mentioned Holiday's Heart, cried the whole time. And even now, Netflix got this new Spanish one with this beautiful trans woman. Oh my God. Oh, that woman is the color of mocha chocolate, honey. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. So I think that was 3 part, and it's all in Spanish. Yeah, so you had to read the translations, but it was worth it. So, but before then, I I I, I would just do it. I would just look at it. Everybody looks at RuPaul, and everybody does everything. I'm trying to position myself for the camera. Remember, I'm not turning the camera because it'll fall and everything will fall. So all of a sudden, it came to me as I'm working out, and I'm feeling better, and I'm looking better. And I said, maybe it's time that you go out and find you a mate, or like a male, to develop a relationship with. And I was like, wow, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And then some said, Row, from Scooby Doo. um, I was like, no, no, I don't want no old man. They don't take care of themselves. They spent their whole lives being taken care of by women. They don't know anything. A lot of them still, they don't even know how to pick up their clothes off the floor when they take them off, because there's always been a wife to come behind them and do it. I was like, or you see them, you can't see them, you hear them, or um, they're bachelors for life, very stubborn. It's theirs, it's theirs, it's their way, it's their way. And then as you get older, sometimes it can have the I don't know, I want to say pensity, but there's a possibility that they can become very violent because it's them, their way, how they want it. And they understand that a woman's role, as it is taught, um, as being servants. I don't want to go that way. So I said, wow, what would be a good meat for me? Now, still, I've gone love, never miss a RuPaul Drag Race until of late. I can't believe they're doing this now. I can't believe they're doing it. What they're doing upstairs now is fighting, and they have a bone, so they're pulling it. So, if anything, I may have to change the time. I don't know if I'm gonna have to do it at night, like a late night Sunday at 2 a.m. in the morning. And that may have to be the time that I do that. So I've said to myself, how can I find a good mate? Who, what would I want in a good mate? What would I want at my age? What would I want them to do with me? Well, I want them to do things I like to do. Some say, no, that's not. And no old man is going to do what you want to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's been doing it so long. And so long, he has been taught that your role is to serve him. So that's not going to happen. Are you ready to be a servant? And I was like, oh, no, not that on this last leg of life. So then I said to myself, okay, what kind of person would I want to want to go? I'm not a shopper. I haven't been a shopper because I haven't been able to afford to shop and stuff like that. But my life is coming to the point that I can. So I think I want to go shopping, find someone to go shopping with. Not a girlfriend, because a girlfriend is not looking for me. A girlfriend is looking for a man. Okay, but who is looking for me? You have to go shopping with. And then I was looking at this show on TLC called In Transition. And in this TV show, maybe like, I think they had 2 seasons, if not for sure 1. And it was men who were married to women who were always on the inside a woman themselves. And at the last leg of life, as I'm on the last leg of life, on their last leg of life, they decide to let that inner woman come out. And they went to their wives and they said, you know what? I gotta let it out. And then, not even on the last leg, there was a 22-year-old, I believe, with 2 kids and a wife. And he was like, I gotta let this woman in me out. And I was like, wow. And that wife didn't have a problem with it. I wish they would, follow through. She didn't have a problem with it. She helped and supported him. She didn't know because they were both young, but he had 2 kids and the wife. He want to be a woman. And Sister Girl, that's what I looked at it. I was like, fine, that works perfectly. I love that. So then, the older guy, and with the older guys, it was very hard because the women were really angry. I was with you all these years, and I was like, well, all those years ago, he couldn't let the inner woman in him out because they would have tarred and feathered him. Are you kidding me? He would never be able to get a job. The cult that he was involved in every Sunday would not have tolerated him. They would have cast him out as a demon. So, but I was looking at them, and as I'm looking at the show, every episode, I was like, I'd go shopping with you. I go to the hairdresser and sit with you. We could hang out and get nails done. I would never be embarrassed of you and how you look. I just love the energy that they were putting out. It was like they were brand new. Even though they were old, they were new. That's it. Even though and I was like, oh, I'd go shopping with you. I'd go out in public with you. And I'm falling in love with these people. And so as I'm back to wondering about getting me a mate, I said to myself, a transgender woman, an older transgender woman a retired transgender woman who just wants to companion another woman to be out in the street with, to do woman things with, to get hair done with, to get dressed up and go out to dinner with. You know what I'm saying? To get the nails done. I want to click, 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 click like Maddie. Though Maddie's nails look a little heavy. I'm sure they got lighter nails. I want to click, 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 click. And so I was like, yes, I know what I want. Hence the reason for Bed-Stuy Brownstone stories, because I said to myself, how do you know you want this? I asked myself this. How do I know I want this from looking at a show about men transitioning into women? How it got to be something deeper. And I couldn't think. So now that the TLC thing in transition had to be about 2 or 3 years ago. But I'm talking about getting a mate. And I know what I want. But I said, you had to have some kind of contact with it before, Vicky. You had to have something. You just don't go from looking at a TLC TV show and saying, yes, that's what you want. That's the kind of, that's the mate that you would like to have. Even a like get down true friendship with, like road dogs, shopping dogs. I'm gonna let you be all the woman you want to be. I'm gonna be all the woman I am along with you. You know, so that's what the show. It's all about me tracking down. So I tracked it down to, oh my God, 40, like 42 years ago. So I'm going back, rewind, 42 years ago. 1980, 80, 81. Where were you in 1980? I was living in Bed-Stuy, New York. Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Hancock Street between Troop and Tompkins. Down the street from the Marcy Pool, honey. We used to walk down there. That's where I taught all the neighborhood kids how to swim. I was like, when we was going to the pool, I would let all the parents know, listen, look it. I'm taking these folks to the pool. And I knew how to swim. I knew how to do life saving, and I knew how to teach them to swim. And every kid I took to that pool learned to swim. So it had to be about 10 of them, because sometimes they would swap off. So all of them know how. They would never drown. I taught them to swim. So I said, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm back. I remember." So my daughter, 78. So by then, yeah, 63. Yeah, okay. So what? And then it hit me. I mean, like an anvil in the old cartoons, in Bugs Bunny, and the anvil would come down, like smash him into the ground. That's how it came at me. I was like, "Holy shit, Martin! Holy shit!" Those years, your best friend on the earth was a transgender woman. She was in transition. And this is back in the 80s. Martin, I've forgotten all about her. And the more I'm talking about her, I'm getting out of the 80s, but I'm trying to bring my language into this century. Martin. Martin was the first one that said, "Oh, girl, you're beautiful." If you, oh, I'm not gonna start crying. Ooh, not gonna start crying. Girl, if you put some blush up, that would help your cheeks glow. And if you did so and so, girl, you are so pretty. And I remember looking at him because nobody, nobody. Remember, I came from a Baptist cult. No one used the words, "you are pretty, you are beautiful." No, the whole thing was to smash you down. So it was like, "Oh, you so ugly, you so dumb, you so stupid, um, um, you the devil, you evil." Those were pet names. No one said, no one ever. Okay, if you, I cook chicken good, so they said, "Girl, you can fry some chicken." But that as far as the compliments went. So I'm sitting there. Yes, when I met Martin, I had been married, but my husband never told me I was beautiful. He was West African. No, never, never said it. Never came out of his mouth. So when Martin said it to me, I was like, "I'm what?" I'm what? Can you say that again? And nobody ever said that to me. And he was like, "Yeah. You use a little rouge," and he's going on. And I'm like, "Yeah." So now, how I met Martin was Vanessa. Now, going back to Funky Geneva, my daughter introduced me to Funky Geneva. He used to review, I don't know, maybe he still do, I don't watch it, my daughter does, the Housewives stuff franchise and all that kind of stuff like that. So he was, at that time, he would talk to Nessa. And that's what had me looking at him, because every time he would say, "Nessa girl," something in my head would say, that phrase, I don't know this Funky Geneva guy, but the Nessa girl, Nessa, and I would laugh when he would talk, and I was understand. Well, in Bed-Stuy, my neighbor was Vanessa. Her and her husband married out of high school, and I think they had 2 or 3 kids. And they lived on the brownstone. If you look at the picture, you'll see like you had the ground level, you had the next level, and then you had top level. And Vanessa was on the top level, top floor. Her and her husband. think her husband was Bootsy. He had some kind of name like that. So that's why when Funky Nip said Nessa this, Nessa that, why it sounded so familiar to my ears was because I had a Nessa girl, and it was Nessa. Well, I called her Vanessa. Vanessa, you gonna come down on the porch, and excuse me, come down on the stoop? And she said, yeah, me and the kids will be coming down. Or she'll say, Vicky, I'm gonna be down on the stoop. So I was new to the community, and Vanessa and her husband had been there for some time. So, and as we would sit out and talk, Martin would come prancing, dancing down the street. And Vanessa would say, hey, hey, Martin. And Martin, she would say, hey, Nessa. And that's why when I heard Funky Geneva talking, it sounds so familiar to me, but not from Funky Geneva, from my Bed-Stuy Brownstone stories. It was how I met Martin. And so as they go, hey Martin, hey Nessa, and Martin, she would cross the street over and talk to us. And of course, Vanessa introduced me to Martin. And then there was times that I would be out there when Martin would come down the street, and I would say, hey Martin, and he would come across the street. Now, she lived in Martin was got caught up in the AIDS epidemic, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. Martin lived. Martin. It was a time on Hancock Street where basically all the brownstone owners were African Americans. Yep. My first landlord was an African American woman, and other than my daughter, the best landlord I have ever had. She know I always paid my rent on time. I held up my end of the bargain. I did what I was supposed to do. And the best, I never found another one like her. But at that time, they owned the Brownstones. And Martin's mother, I think Martin said his mother was like 50 something when Martin was born. And Martin had to be like 25. So the mother was already 75. I think the dad was already dead. And it was just her and Martin in that whole big brownstone. And he spent a lot of his time down in the village or over there on the remember one time we walked through there, it was on the west side by the pier. Yeah, I followed Martin down there. Yeah, we did the parade in the village. The whole, I mean, when Martin met me, like I said, I had already come from my cult. I know my cousins have not gone and said it. They don't call it a cult, but that's what I see it as now. I always wondered what it was. I know there was like religious stuff, but I never got that feeling of all that freedom and different things like that. And so when Martin met me in the cult, I was taught basically to care for a woman. My grandmother would always say, my mother didn't raise me like that. She would say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, was my mother. But after she died, I went down to South Carolina with my grandmother. And my grandmother was a woman's whole purpose is to take care of a man, to get a man and take care of him. Cook, clean, have his children, go to work, and died. So when I met Martin, it was like a breath of fresh air for me because I didn't know a lot of stuff about being a woman. You didn't have to be sexy when you're in that cult environment because men gonna hunch on you anyway. Excuse me. They already, oh, sorry about that. They're already hunching on the kids. So it doesn't matter. Listen, you can be, you can have no legs, no arms, no face, and if you have a vagina, you can get a man. He'll want you. You ain't got to fry chicken. You ain't got to make no macaroni. You don't have to do all those things. If you have a vagina, you're a man. There's a top for every pot. If you're a pot, there's a top. That's just is. You ain't got to be a good looking pot to have a top. You don't have to be the. Yeah, every pot has a top. So you're gonna have a top. But in cults, they teach you, well, you're not gonna have that, or you're not gonna have the one that is supposed to be for you, and all. So that's all I thought. Women. Oh yeah, and another thing, women are supposed to suffer. Um, what is it? Women are supposed to suffer. Women are supposed to serve men. Um, they, all the time from the Old Testament, the woman in the rib and the woman in the rib, and it wasn't until I got pregnant and had a baby, and I was like, oh hell no, this is some bullshit. Because I'm telling you right now, if I could have snatched a rib out of my husband and bypass those contractions and having that baby, I'd have cut him out, have filleted him and cut that rib out. But that's not true. But that's the whole cult aspect of it. So I'm sitting here with Martin, and I don't know how a woman feels. I didn't know that she was supposed to be happy to be a woman. Martin was happy to be a woman. Happy. He was happy. When I see TS Madison, they're so happy to be a woman that woman inside of them, because they're already a woman, that woman inside of them is on the outside, that they glow. Glow. To me, transgender women, they glow. I'm gonna talk about Flame, because she came through on Maddie's show, but I'm not gonna talk about that on this side. Oh, but I'm gonna have to start talking about it soon. But to me, transgender, I mean, even the ones that are working on stepping their pussy up, okay? Because Martin was still in transition. She was still in transition to become that full woman inside, to bring that full woman inside out. She's still in transition. But she glowed. I mean, I know Martin used to do flips and turn and like that says, man, the best thing on earth is being a woman. And I'd be like, really, Martin? Really? The best thing on earth is being a woman? I thought the worst thing on earth was being a woman. I was taught I was more curse than goodness. I was taught that every time my biological menstrual happened every month, I was a vile creature. There's something wrong with me. It was some kind of evilness. I was told my breasts was some kind of like waiter against me, you know, that I would be a better person if I didn't have breasts. But since I have breasts, that's my burden. Everything was my burden. Everything was my burden. Nothing about being a woman was good. Everything about, I was taught when I was down south, everything about being a woman was a burden. And then I'm here with Martin in Bed-Stuy on Hancock Street between Troop and Tompkins, 352A, 352A Hancock Street. And I'm looking at this woman in front of me, loving being a woman. This transgender woman in front of me, loving being a woman. When we did our nails or we did anything like that, so Martin was so excited, and I was so excited, and I mean, you're like, you're not supposed to like say my hands are beautiful, because then only one person's hand is beautiful, and that's the superior being. And Martin's like, no, look at your hands, the way. And we used to go, and he put this little tiny bracelet on me. Of course, we was in the supermarket, in the store, and they was looking at us like we would probably lift it. Martin probably would, but not me. And he was like, Vicky, try this on. And I remember putting on this bracelet. My first, oh, I didn't keep it, but the first time I had like a gold bracelet on my wrist. And he said, look how small your wrist is. So dainty. I was like, and I'm looking like I'm trying to see what he's seeing. But I could look at him when he did it, and he had a very small hand and a very dainty wrist. And I was like, oh boy. So I could see it in him and he could see it in me. So that's why I said, now, 42 years later, the one that I want, my ace boom coon, I want to be a transgender woman. I can lean on, she can lean on. I want a transgender woman to be my mate. Plain and simple. So, okay, that's the first half. Because, honey, on YouTube, I read the rules. If you say you're supposed to talk about something, you're supposed to talk. But I don't want to be clout chasing, nothing like that. So that's why I just put, I love TS Madison. Sometimes I say I love Maddie in the morning. But I love me some Maddie. I do. I love me some Maddie. I do. So let's see. Where we going to first go to? Oh, yeah. Let's do Turned Out. And I would put Turned Out in my opening. But again, I want to promote her, but then I don't want to be seen as they call it, clout chasing and stuff like that, or even get my video struck down because they say, oh, she's using Turned Out, and she's not. So I don't know. These YouTube streets, honey, is tricky. So they had Turned Out was good, girl. I could not. I had this feeling, the entertainment, the singing at the end, how she did the interview. I got that. Y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about because I'm like 64. I'm old, so. And I didn't necessarily sit down and look at late night talk shows. I think I did Arsenio Hall a couple of times. And I want to tell you something. I got all the talk show vibe, the late night talk show vibe. I got that. I got that same wonderful feeling. Maddie is a great interviewer. She's funny. She puts you at ease. I don't know why you're going against transgender women. I'm trying to tell you, no happier woman have I met. I've not met a biological woman that was happy to be a woman as a transgender woman is. I haven't met him yet. Oh, me. I love being a woman. Anywho, so that turned out 8 p.m. Tuesday. Give me a minute, y'all. On Fox Soul. If the Colts did not control BET and TV1, if the Colts did not control BET and TV1, Maddie could have her late night show on either of those two stations. But they're run by Colts. And Colts said that there's something wrong with Maddie and all the other girls and the whole community. That's why I don't mess with them. I know what they are. Religious shows, religious shows. It's all cults. Cults, 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 cults. And Colts is the man in control and he run everything and everybody else kisses butt. Oh, because there's a book out there that says that. You know, the one that says that my a man's rib made me, but I went through 7 hours of labor, and I know was no man's rib coming out of me because it didn't get in me. It was his sperm connecting with my egg. The Colts don't like to teach that. That's too much truth. So if by chance, maybe from this coronavirus, the whole of the Colts will loosen, especially on the African American community, and we'll all be just African Americans trying to make it in this America or on this planet. Everything I learned and heard, no one told me until now, my research, everything, they don't tell you there's a ghetto heaven. I didn't know heaven was in tears. When I was being tortured down south in the Baptist religion, they said everybody was going to heaven. That's not true. Just like, yeah, there's many mansions. There's many mansions here right now that you can't get into. When you go over there, there's going to be many mansions there that you can't get into. You might as well stay here. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm going to move on. I just don't know that cult that Maddie keeps trying to go into and all the community keeps trying to go into to be accepted. And especially transgender women. In those cults, they don't like women. How do you expect them to like you? They don't want women happy to be happy in those cults. And I know because I came from the Southern Baptist cults and they didn't want you to be happy. You wasn't supposed to think. You just supposed to do what the man do and make sure you take care of him, clean him, screw him, take care of his kids, work until you die, and you better be happy. But I hear the community, they always want to get in, and I'm like, stop knocking at that door. And if you go in that door and they're treating you horribly every time they treat me horrible, they talk about me. Yes, that's what they do. They don't like women. And you're a transgender woman and you're not connecting the dots. And I'm not understanding it with the community. Women are gum under their shoe. Transgender women are gum under their shoe. Men are at the top. Men oppress women in that cult, in the Southern Baptist. I remember my aunt used to hate it when the pastor would come over. She hated. She used to tell us. She under her breath. She used to grunt. She used to. Every time I see that part of The Color Purple, where Whoopi Goldberg spit in Mr. Father's water, and she said, "Next time I put a little sugar Avery P in it." That makes me think of my aunt, because she was so angry. When that pastor came over and he would sit there, she would become enraged, thinking back on her childhood, where she said they would come over, the pastors and the deacons come over, and it was a lot of them. They hardly had, not that they were suffering, but like the pastors and stuff would come over and eat everything. And they had to serve them. They had to serve them. They had to clean up after them. And my aunt, oh, when we would be in the kitchen, sorry y'all, I said I was going to eat before I come on. When we would be in the kitchen fixing their food, oh man, this woman would be in there cussing up a blue streak. She did not. She could sit there eating all the food, getting the top choice thing. And I'm like, wow. And of course, we girls had to serve them. And as kids, we couldn't eat. We couldn't eat. If they sat there for 2 hours laughing and talking stuff, we couldn't eat. Because they may want to eat it. And that's what my aunt hated. My aunt said they would be at church all morning and you come home and you're hungry and stuff like that. And you weren't able to pastor. And then his family or maybe the deacons and stuff come over and they sit at the dining room table and you're hungry. You haven't had anything for breakfast, if you had anything for breakfast. And you had to serve them. And they sat there and they ate and they drank and they hooped and they talked or whatever they did. And you couldn't eat. You couldn't sit down and eat. You couldn't do anything. And, you're taking the plates off and you putting the plates back on it. And you're looking at them eat and you are so hungry. You are so hungry because you didn't spend the whole day in church and you ain't ate. But you got to serve them and you can't eat. You cannot eat until after they have eaten. And then they kick back and they laugh and then they, and the whole time, the food has been served and you're sitting there, but you still can't eat. And then one time my aunt, she totally freaked out. She flipped. She said, "Get your plates." And we were like, no, they're still eating. Grandma said we can't do it. They're still eating it. And she said, "Get your plate. Fix your food. If there's no seconds for them, then they don't deserve it." And she made us fix our food. We were sitting down there like, scared to eat. Because you don't eat until after the pastor and everybody. That's how the cults work. So I don't understand you girls. Stop trying to get into a place. You're trying to get into a place where women are treated like crap. And you're a transgender woman, so they're going to treat you like crap. Ergo. So anyway, Turned Out was really good. Mimi Faust was on there, and I don't know anything about that whole shower curtain sex thing. I'm not current. So the singer there, Maddie, knew everything about the singer that she interviewed, which was a great interview. Let me tell you something. Maddie is a good interviewer. She makes you feel at ease, comfortable, like you could tell her anything. But that's how Martin was. Even with Vanessa, with anybody, if you were not transphobic and you met Martin, you could share anything with Martin. Of course, the dogs are drinking water in the background. So that was it. And so that was Turned Out. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on Fox 5. Okay. So then Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning, Maddie in the morning and the afternoon. Yes. Hey, y'all. Maddie had a sponsor called Brand Protector. It's brandprotector.com. It's where they give like $2,500 grant for Black-owned businesses to help them trademark, copyright, and register their stuff or their brand or art. Isn't that something? It's called brandprotector.com. Got to stick together, y'all. Got to stick together. That was wonderful. That. And I was thinking, oh man, there's some things, but I have so many things out there that I would basically go bankrupt if I had to brand register, etc., etc., etc. It's the way it is. I mean, I worked all my life to pay bills and stuff like that. And anyway, so Matt, we're into Maddie in the morning. So then I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't pay too much attention to the articles this week, but Maddie in the morning, Miss Sophia had me dying. Miss Sophia, she said, she kept saying, Maddie. Maddie's like, I'm on my live, Sophia. I'm on my live. Miss Sophia said, Maddie. Let me ask you a question. And it went on from there. So the question that was on my mind that I had been dying to ask, didn't know who to ask. And I don't think Maddie even answered the question when Miss Sophia asked it. Miss Sophia is a beautiful drag queen. She is in drag totally. She's in total drag. Beautiful drag. Miss Sophia. Anyway, Miss Sophia said, Maddie, let me ask you something. She said, where's Craig? I almost fell off the chair. I said, that's what I want to know. Where is Craig? I know Mo is her hiree and he's there all the time, but Craig was there too. And then Craig got his channel, and then Craig got his man, and Craig, whoa, woo, wow, woo. So, I listened, but I didn't hear Maddie answer the question. And then, the show before the Maddie in the morning, Flame came on, and she was on another beautiful transgender woman. Oh my goodness. Flame is beautiful. I mean, with or without. When she drag up, beautiful. When she's plain Jane, she is beautiful plain Jane, honey. So anyway, Flame Monroe, Maddie said Flame Monroe did an interview on Wendy. And I said, Wendy, I know. I was like, wow, I wonder if that's a Sherry Shepherd. And I went over there, and yes. First, let me say this about Sherry. Oh, my time is up. Sherry Shepherd, gorgeous, beautiful, shapely, lost that weight. I mean, curvaceous. I was loving it. She's been working out with Andre because I listened to Two Funny Mamas, and that body was banging. I'm telling you, they said maybe she said it herself too, and I heard her say that she had diabetes from birth. Because I'm telling you, the way she has slimmed, the way she is slimmed and built now, if it was diabetes from like all eating junk and stuff like that, then she would be cured, honey, because sister girl is tight. Everything gorgeous, beautiful, just gorgeous. So Flame comes on. And of course, we're in the pandemic. And I like to see how the Wendy studio is, because you don't have all that audience. You have the audience who do the virtual. I think brilliant. The virtual people who watch the show, you see the screen. I saw that on Dr. Phil, and then you have some in the audience, and it is great. I loved it. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should look at Sherry more, but I know it's Wendy Williams. Anyway, Flame was divine. Divine. Beautiful, gorgeous. Uh, Spoke about, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Just go to Flame Monroe. He has a couple of shows on YouTube, but just like I did, just put in Flame Monroe and it'll all come up. So there's that. And to close out, to close out our time together, I wanted to talk about Nosy Ho. My daughter, as with everything on YouTube and TikTok, etc., my daughter introduces me to it. And tell you something. From the time she introduced me to Nosy Ho on YouTube, I'm not into lesbians. As you go along, she lets you know she's a lesbian and part of the community, but that's not it for me that got me into her. What got me into her is, again, she loves being a woman. And she loves being an African American woman. I missed those videos, those little flashes that she used to do, where she would just put on a dress and just strut her stuff on the street and record it. She loves being a woman. And that's what got me right away. That's what got me right away with Nosy Ho. She loved being a woman. She loved flaunting it. She loved flinging it. I don't care what they say. Oh, her hair's not. I saw she loved being a woman, and she loved being a woman going through the same abusive that me and millions of other women have gone through. And had I not met Martin, my transgender best friend in my 20s, when I was a young woman, he taught me how to love being a woman that has survived to this day. I hate to think of where I would be, how angry and hateful I would be at my very presence, my very breast, my very womb, my very being a woman, because that's what I was taught from the South. If you're a woman, you're a woman for a man, you're not a woman for yourself. If you go and get your hair done and your nails done, it is for the man, or to attract your man, or to attract a man. It's never to make yourself feel good or to make yourself feel happy. And I will sit here and debate anyone who says anything differently. But Nosy Ho, I wrote a play. I wrote a play called, well, two plays about lesbians. I'm not a lesbian, but I wrote two plays. Again, I didn't know where my attraction to the community came from. I wrote my first two plays were plays about lesbians for lesbians. One is called Sima Versa, one act plays, Sima Versa, and the other one is called Lee to Wheat, which is the roof in French. And of course, my friends, because they're messy, they always say Les Toit, but it is Lee to Wheat, as in the roof. So my two, and of course I tried to shop them around, and they always say to you, oh, you wrote two lesbian plays. Are you a lesbian? And I said, no, 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 no. I just wrote these plays, but I couldn't do the connections. I'm 30. I'm already maybe 15 years away from Martin, and I've forgotten already. I've forgotten already because life was what I was going through. But now I know where I got. It was an honor for me to write those plays to support the community, though the community didn't support me because I'm not a lesbian. So, the plays are in the file drawer. They're really good. One is like The Boys in the Band, and the other one is like La Kaiser Fall Follies, which they call The Birdcage. Um, and it's because it's African American lesbians. But because I'm not a lesbian, they never accepted the plays, but I wrote the plays as almost a homage to the community because meeting Martin, my transgender friend Martin, in my 20s, and she taught me how to love being a woman. So anyway, let me just go back to Nosy Ho. Nosy Ho is on Big O. Nosy Ho's on Big O. Let me tell you what I love about that Nosy Ho. My daughter came in and said, "Mommy, Nosy Ho's too much." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "First she's on Big O." I was like, "Oh, she's on Big O. She'll go back." I can't go on Big O. I got kicked off Big O because I showed a needle threader, and they said that I was showing pornography. So I can't go back on there. But Nosy Ho is on there. And she said that Nosy Ho said that the reason why Nick Cannon is having all these children because he's using the 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 umbilical cord. Allegedly, the umbilical cord from the babies to help with his lupus. And then I'm sitting there because that's how why I love Nosy Ho because we think the same way. And I said, maybe that's why Stevie Wonder had all them babies and now he can see. But this is all allegedly, y'all. Y'all know I don't know those people. I don't know them none of them celebrities. I listen. The only celebrity I ever met was me. I'm a celebrity unto myself. People say, "You ever met a celebrity?" Sure, me. They say, "You're not a celebrity." I said, "Speak to yourself for yourself. I'm a celebrity to me." Oh boy. I was hoping that I could be a smooth operator and bring this music up. Sometimes it'll let me, sometimes it won't. So, all right, I was going to do a fade out music, but it won't let me do a fade out music. Hold on, y'all. Man, sometimes the music just don't let you be cool. It don't let you be great. Sometimes the music is just a hater. I'm trying to leave out without music. And I tell you, I don't think I got rid of it. I may have. Here we are. And I don't see it anywhere. Here we go. I can't believe it. Every time I think I got everything nailed down, smooth running. Hey, y'all, thanks for coming on the stoop to hear my Bed-Sty Brownstone stories. I'll see y'all next week, and you know what? Stop judging people, all right? See ya.